Fuq dik il-nota, ħanalaq din l-introduzzjoni u ħannistedinkom tinaqdu miegħi fil-ġnien tagħna fejn hemmhekk ħaniltaqgħu ma' Riccardo u ma' Charlotte. Laqna. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
We're well.
You're good? All good?
Yes,
Good,
yes.
thank you.
Fantastic. In fact, let me tell our viewers li jiena ħanamel din l-intervista bl-Ingliż għax ovvjament Riccardo huwa barrani u għalhekk ma nistgħux nitkellmu bil-Malti, imma tinkwetawx. Għal min forsi ma jifhimx u l-Ingliż mhuwiex il-lingwa forte tiegħu, jien ħankun qed nirtraduċi bil-Malti biex bekk tafu eżattament x'qed jiġri. U fil-fatt ħanitkellmu dwar il-produzzjoni ta' Requiem for Juliet ta' gsmålta. Requiem for Juliet. So we have our choreographer over here, Riccardo, correct? And Juliet's mother.
Yes.
Juliet's mother. So this is a sequel to the story,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, the piece was imagined as a sort of sequel, 20 or 500 years later from from the actual story. And my idea was to give Juliet's mother a sort of escape, sort of the freedom to talk about herself, how she felt in the aftermath, let's say, of Juliet's death. So it's a chance for this new character to stand out.
A kind of resolve.
Yeah,
For
to
the character.
redeem herself.
Yes,
yeah.
to redeem herself, this is the kind of closure
Yeah.
that most probably she
Yeah.
might have needed. Because, spoiler alert, for those of you who don't know the story, it's a tragedy. So
Yeah.
most people die. So of
Yeah.
course, there's so much you can do with the sequel when you have most of your leads not there. So,
Exactly.
So,
I worked with my dramaturg, Mauro Barbiero, imagining the story somehow seen by Juliet's mother, Lady Capulet, but also seen backwards. So we are trying to resolve the tragedy with a happy ending. So, but I'm not going to tell you too much about the structure of the work because then, of course, you have to come and see it in the theatre, in
Of
Teatro
course.
Emanuel. So.
Of course, li qed jgħidilna Riccardo huwa li bażikament meta inti kollok traġedja kif jikteb William Shakespeare, ħafna mill-karattri jmutu. Allura kif ħadd tagħmel sequel jekk għandek ħafna mill-karattri li mietu? U x-xogħol ta' Riccardo u anke dramaturgu kien li jippruvaw jaraw kif Ġulietta li kienet parti mill-kaġun għalfejn Ġulietta sfat fit-tmiem li kellha, jista' jirriżolvi ruħu jsib dak il-closure billi jitkellem u jikteb nimmaġina. So, ma maħna sejlkom xejn iktar, ġifieri staqalikom li tmorru teatru u taraw daqsxejn żgħira kif se tagħlaq l-istorja b'mod bit-tmiem sabiħ. Happy ending. You're playing the role of Juliet's mother.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about your preparation? And there's a lot of grief.
Yes, there's a
to
lot
work
of
on.
grief, but as Riccardo rightly said, there is closure. I think the role deals a lot with the choices we make in life and with the choices that Juliet's mother did, with the choices that Juliet did, and how she comes to term with the loss of her child and how she possibly looks forward to life after having come to terms with the situation.
Of course, because we're dealing with loss over
Yes,
here. So,
yes.
so it's a very big character and a big role, I believe, to get to. How did the concept come about?
Well, actually, it came about here in Malta 2.5 years ago when I was working at the company, at the national company, ÄZFINMalta. And I was having dinner with the director, Paolo, and we were talking about classics and how to work with them. And he asked me if I had in mind a title, you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, of course I have titles in my mind. I always have ideas. And so I presented him my list. And in this list, there was this Romeo and Juliet played by the four parents coming together in a dinner, sort of inspired by Roman Polanski, well, Yasmina Reza, Dieu de Carnage, that was rendered by Roman Polanski in his movie Carnage. And so the original work, I mean, the original idea in that moment for me was these four parents coming together and having a fight over their children's fight, you know, their children's death in that case.
The blame game. Whose
Yeah, it's a
fault is
blame-
it? It's your fault, it's
exactly.
their fault.
And but then throughout the months, the years, these 2.5 years, I decided to focus on one character, the mother, because the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet is the tragedy of Juliet. She's the one to leave us last. So she's the hero there.
Yes.
And therefore I wanted to work on femininity and this idea of also the mother as a sort of origin of that femininity, of that of the tragedy, the origin of tragedy. So the choice, the individual choice, but also the individual choice comparing to the environment, family and society that we live in. I hope it's clear.
Yes, and in fact, since what we're all saying is so important, I'm going to translate a bit. Basikament li qegħdin ngħidu hija li din hija storja ta' valuri umani ħafna. Ġifieri karattru li tinterpreta Charlotte li hija Ġulietta li ovvjament bħalma ħafna nafu Ġulietta tmut fl-aħħar ta' traġedja ta' William Shakespeare, għandha ħafna emozzjonijiet li trid taħdem fuqhom. Ġifieri t-telfa tal-tifla għall-lum hija xi ħaġa li hija kbira sewa, so xi ħaġa li qed nippruvaw nagħmlu b'dan il-produzzjoni teatralija dawn l-emozzjonijiet kollha li tħoss l-omm meta titlef wilt kif ħajmanifestaw ruhom fit-teatru. U dak huwa xogħol Riccardo, dak huwa xogħol Charlotte, u ovvjament l-idea hija żviluppat, fil-ewwel kien hemm il-pjani kien hemm l-erba' ġenituri, imma mbagħad eventwalment il-focus sar iktar fuq l-omm għalfejn. Għax fl-aħħar mill-aħħar hija Ġulietta li tmut l-aħħar fil-istorja oriġinali, u ovvjament il-mod kif tmut ħanħallikom di huwa pjuttost partikolari għax neħi ħajja bidejha. Ġifieri u b'mod daqsxejn żgħar iktar grotesk, ġifieri ma xarbet xejn, imma it's a very, very gruesome death for Juliet, because, you know, so how is the rehearsal process going?
Well, I'm still trying to find my feet, but for me it's a very beautiful experience. It's a unique experience, as you very well know. It's very unusual for an actor to work with dancers.
That's right.
So for me, it's very interesting to get into the multidisciplinary approach, and I think I'm very privileged to be working with such amazing, dancers, and to meet Riccardo and to be inspired by the world that he wants to bring forward and to make it contemporary and to make it tangible and real for the audience, I believe.
And relevant today,
And
I
relevant.
guess. I mean, to be honest, what I see in the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet, more than the themes of love and death, which for me are not that relevant, is the theme of choice that I find really relevant. You know, how can we decide, and how much can we decide of our life, and how much space do we have for decision making?
And
know
how
what I
to
mean?
react as well to the choices
Absolutely.
of others and our own.
Absolutely, and that's what the piece somehow is. It's a reflection on that. Yeah, it's a reflection.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a metaphor for that.
When you look at the original novel, it's all a series of unfortunate events happening one after the other and like bad timing. It's really a
Yes.
story of bad timing
Yeah.
and wrong decisions.
Star-crossed lovers, right? So
Yes,
destiny that
exactly.
is already been made for us, and let's see if we can reflect on that. And yeah, for me, like to take the mother as inspiration is definitely to reflect on the origin of choice, the origin of choices.
I know you're going to like work on our curiosity, but I'm a little curious. Don't reveal too much. What role will the dancers be portraying? Are they shadows of people? Are they emotions? Are they what role?
I don't want to
Without
say too
revealing
much,
too much.
but you've mentioned all the things that they portray.
Yeah.
It's Juliet's mother's thoughts, memories, ghosts, reflections, piece of actual memories of actual facts happening in the story as well. So it's a mix of things.
So
there is
people-
no protagonist as such, apart from Lady Capulet. It could be anyone. All
Very
bodies
interesting.
could be anyone.
So we might actually see snippets which might actually link us, say,
Yes.
that is.
It's
that-
all about memory and the distortion of memory, somehow.
It's like when we're going
My
down.
God, I'm telling you too much, guys.
Okay. I'm not going to ask anymore, so I'm going to be quiet. How is the fusion between the multidisciplinary approach? How
Well,
going?
there's quite a bit of recorded voice work, which is being translated into a kind of like a film score.
okay.
But I will also have some live text. And obviously the dancers still relate to the interpretation I'm giving to what is happening right there. So I'm kind like of this eternal presence to remind people that, you know, this is as well her journey going through.
For me, in terms of composition and as a theatrical experience, Charlotte, so Lady Capulet, is the frame, and the dancing is the painting. So I got inspiration a lot from Renaissance into different kind of other art periods, period of art history, and I'm trying to convey this idea of like, yeah, one frame, which is the story that she narrates, and then the paintings behind her. Yeah.
That's really, really interesting. Your process, because it's quite a role.
Well, I'm still trying to find my feet. I'm getting introduced to the dancers, how they come in and out of character, and I think the more I watch, the more I will be able to learn and to interpret the role, but also to integrate in the whole storyline. I think that's the process.
I'm working a lot with this idea of, again, frame and painting, but also the idea of mirror.
Yes.
There is something, I think, very powerful in terms of, under a dramaturgy point of view for me, in Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet cannot love each other because they are the same. They are the same two kids, really much, you know, willing to do something, you know, very whimsical. And therefore they are the same, as their families are the same. They look at themselves in the mirror. That's why there are, in few scenes, there is no resolution for that mirror. So it's almost like we're looking at a fragmented mirror and a shattered mirror in which she sees memories reproduced many times in different ways, yeah? Mirror, but also multiple facets.
Yes,
so that was my choreographic work for
you're in a house of mirrors and it just keeps going on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Is it set? Is it devised? How is it?
Everything is set. Yeah, there is no improvisation, and it's set with the dancers because for me they are my biggest source of inspiration, including the sea, by the way, because the sea, and we are on an island. I need to say this. I'm really lucky to be on an island because the seaside is the best for me in terms of like thinking. But yeah, no, dancers are definitely my biggest source of inspiration. I throw ideas and then make some material, then I edit, and then I come very prepared with a very strong storyboard. So, you know, I try to use the time I have, with a strong vision, so then I don't get lost too much in research, especially because this is a narrative piece. So I cannot get lost very much. I want it to be, you know, to have a structure. And then I filled that structure through their movement and through the beauty of their commitment as well, which creates beautiful things. And so it's a dialogue with them.
Juxtaposed and framed by the wonderful Charlotte Grech, which gives it all.
She is wonderful. She is really wonderful. Yeah,
fantastic.
She has the experience and the voice and the knowledge to interpret this role. And I really wanted to work with a Maltese person, also because you look more like Italian. As the story was happening in Verona, maybe, you know, I was like, yeah, Charlotte is the good person for that, perfect person for that.
Charlotte, Riccardo, I wish you all the very best.
Thank
Toi
you.
toi, as we say in theatre. And we're looking forward to watching. In fact, let me remind our viewers, this performance is going to happen at Teatro Manuel on the 27th, 28th and 29th of May, correct?
Yes.
So, last 2 weeks to go. No pressure.
No pressure. We are very, I'm personally honored to present a piece in a very historical place like Malta, in one of the oldest Italian theaters of the world.
Right.
So,
I think it's the oldest still functioning.
Yes. And I just wanted to thank the island for your hospitality. So thank you so much.
And thank you for sharing your work with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marco.
And yourself.
Thank you, Marco.
Thank you so much. Nfakkarkom il-produzzjoni Requiem for Juliet li ħassir fis-27, 28, 29 ta' Mejju ġewwa Teatru Manuel jekk intom interessati ħajkun hemm iktar informazzjoni fuq il-paġna tagħna ta' Facebook u Instagram.